Hi, Nora Alwa here, somatic psychotherapist, social justice educator, here to provide resources to everyone. So last week we talked about the concept of tokenizing. Tokenizing meaning that we are only seen for our marginalized identity and not seen for our full self. I'd like to build on this. One of the things that happen as well as tokenizing is that we are gaslighted. For those of you who are not familiar with this term comes from a British play called Gaslight. Basically, it's about a man who manipulated his wife to believe that she was inventing things, that she was imagining things. What he would do is that he would, for example, dim the light so slow that she would be like, has it gotten darker? And he would be like, no, what are you talking about? So she started to believe that what she thought was unreal, that what she perceived was not real. But not only that, that he knew better. He was the one to rely on, and that she could no longer trust her own judgment. Ugh, gross. So this is how this happens over and over again. We see this in DV relationship, in sexism, DV meaning domestic violence. And so basically a way to understand gaslighting is psychological manipulation. Well, let me tell you this. My entire life, growing up in Denmark, I was gaslighted. When we talk about gaslighting, we can see this with all forms of oppression. My entire life in Denmark, I was told that the way that I experienced things was not real. So every time someone would say, a white Dane would say, "Where are you from?" I was told that this was not racism. That was just them wanting to know where my parents and great-great-great-parents were from. Or that whenever I was told, wow, you speak really good Danish as a Dane, that was also just them asking. And so I started to believe that my experience, that experience of racism over and over again, was unreal. That I was making up things, but not only that, the white Danes knew better than me. They know how I am feeling. Just like right now, the murder of Philip, a black man in Denmark, the police are calling that's not a hate crime, that's not racism, that was just a little argument. This is how it happens. And worse when it happens on a systemic level of denying the truth. So you might ask yourself, well, how do I know I'm gaslighted? Well, the truth is sometimes we don't. Sometimes it happens like way later. We're like, And usually it happens with this sound I just said, where we're like, something off happened here. Something that's not actually like sitting well. So as I say sitting well, yes, physically, like something in our throat, something in our bodies, in our stomach are telling us that we're gaslighted. So it is so important that in order to reclaim our power, we need to listen to our bodies. We need to listen to what is actually being said and not just dismiss it like we are told to do. Then, this is the first step. Then when we've done that, we get to speak to it. And I would say that's probably the most scary thing. It is so scary to speak about the ways that we are, for example, being gaslighted when other people are going to tell us that what they're doing is not that. I mean, this just happened to me a few days ago where I was surrounded by people and I was wanting to call out the racism that I was experiencing. And I had a moment where I was like, I can't do that because everyone is going to tell me that that's not true. Well, let me ask you this. What's worse? Abandoning ourselves again and telling myself that what I'm experiencing is not real, or actually taking the risk and saying, hey, this is fucked up, and actually honoring myself. This is the only way we actually get to empower ourselves, is when we start listening to ourselves, and not only that, honoring that. So I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you on your reflections on what is the latest time that you were gaslighted? And what are the ways that you are finding the courage to speak up and not abandon yourself and actually reclaim your power to further not only empower yourself, but others as well? Because we know these things, when we hear the courageous story, that also empowers others. Would love to hear from you, and please take really good care.